As the old saying goes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, which can be easily said about everyone's favorite female monster ninja, Mileena. Making her debut in Mortal Kombat 2, she's been a fan favorite beloved by many. So today, we're going to... Aha, gotcha! Instead, we'll be taking a look at the big bad of Mortal Kombat 1, Deadly Alliance, and Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, Shang Tsung, the sorcerer, snake, and shapeshifter who's made an impact since Mortal Kombat's inception. Today, we'll be taking a look at all of Shang Tsung's fatalities from the worst to the best.
Fight!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. My name is Nick, and welcome to, or welcome back to the channel. If you're new, be sure to click the subscribe button to join the Whack Pack today, and to stay tuned for more Mortal content. In this video, we'll be looking at Shang Tsung, a celebrated villain of the series and serves as the host of the traditional Mortal Kombat tournament and serves as a major antagonist to the series. Inspired by the Chinese sorcerer archetype from martial arts films, including but not limited to Lo Pen from the 1986 film Big Trouble in Little China, he's made an impact on the series. With the sorcery and soul stealing, his finishers vary across all games. Each finisher will be ranked based on their creativity, pacing, impact on the franchise, and personality. Here are the ground rules for the sorcerer. Rule number 1, brutalities, stage fatalities, and mortalities will not be included on this list. Rule number 2, fatalities from Mortal Kombat Armageddon won't count in this list. And rule number 3, recreated fatalities will count as their own entry in this list. As mentioned in previous videos, many games do something different with these classic finishers, for better or for worse, and each will count as its own on this list. For an example, Shang Tsung has several ways to steal your soul and steal your girl, so each will be ranked differently. With those rules established, grab your scrolls, your vials of magic, and steal some extra souls as we rank all of 12 Shang Tsung's fatalities across the entire Mortal Kombat franchise. Number 12. Time to start things off with the game that isn't as bad as everyone remembers, Mortal Kombat vs. DC. Whereas many of the finishers from this game aren't that great, they still managed to work for a teen-rated game. In some previous episodes, I've managed to highlight some positives in those toned-down finishers. Unless you're Kano, then you're not getting any sympathy from me. Sadly, we've got another big Kano-level stinker coming our way.
Shang Tsung wins. Fatality.
Oh my goodness, this one is just so bad. Of all of the Soul Steal finishers, this one is just weak as hell. From a structural standpoint, I'm not really sure why he turns into the opponent and then he just kills them. Also, I feel the animation on this one is super wonky and it looks really incomplete. Like how he grabs the opponent, it just feels off. This is the fresh linen candle of Shang Tsung's Soul Steals. It's bland and no one wants it, which is what makes it the absolute worst Shang Tsung fatality. Number 11. Staying with Mortal Kombat vs. DC for one more finisher. If you thought the first finisher from this game was terrible, this one has a slight frame advantage over the first one.
Shang Tsung wins. Fatality.
Now this one is on the same level as the Morph finisher from the same game, but there are two things that put it above the bottom finisher. First, I think having to get to the action faster is nice, whereas the pacing from the first one was a bit of a drag. Secondly, I think the stomp on the back is something dirty I could see Shang Tsung doing after stealing a soul. But like flavorless oatmeal, it's still pretty bland. Number 10. Moving into the original trilogy with Mortal Kombat 3. This game took a few steps forward with the gameplay and graphics, but at the same time, taking one step back with the execution of the fatalities. For this one, we got a perfect example of good in concept, but poor in execution.
Shang Tsung wins. Fatality.
Now this one isn't too special for me. Sure, Shang Tsung has been showing summoning people and passing souls into stuff, but it's weird seeing him summon spikes for a fatality. If they managed to take advantage of some of his weird sorcery, like turning into Kintaro or Goro to kill the opponent, would have been awesome, but this one just could have been better. Although Shang Tsung summons spikes, this one misses the point of what makes Shang Tsung great. Number 9. Time to move into the PlayStation 2 territory with Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. So far, Raiden has the highest ranked finisher from this game, which really isn't saying a whole lot. This finisher is another example of great in concept but falls apart in the end.
Shang Tsung wins. Fatality.
To state some positives, I do think the first couple of slams are pretty nice, each one getting more bloody and spitting out what looks like bits of chewed up Hubba Bubba. But I think just jumping on top of the opponent to end it is a bit underwhelming. Maybe if he slammed them one more time and then they exploded with him stealing the soul, would have been awesome, but that's just me. If it had a different ending, and it could have been paced a bit better, then it could have been a grand slam. Number 8. Time to move from the mediocre to good finishers by heading into Mortal Kombat 2. This was the first game where Shang Tsung was playable, after being promoted from non-playable to playable from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat 2. Originally, Shung's first finisher would have been summoning a sword and would have decapitated the opponent. This didn't make the cut, sorry for the pun, because they wanted to go with something more supernatural. And so, we got the first incarnation of the Soul Steal.
Shang Tsung wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Now this is a great finisher showcasing his evil sorcery. I also love how the opponent's body shrivels up as the soul gets stolen. This was also referenced in Mortal Kombat 11 as a brutality, and was even a finisher used in the 2021 Mortal Kombat film. Like the opponent's soul, this finisher stole my heart and made an impact on the series, which would be improved as the series went on. Number 7. Staying on brand with Mortal Kombat 2. The team, along with introducing the Soul Steal, innovated and brought more finishers to the table. Somehow, Shang Tsung managed to make the body go boom with his next finisher.
Shang Tsung wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
This one is just a blast. It was cool to see Shang Tsung take advantage of his morphing abilities. Instead of growing in size, he decides to go inside the opponent, like a parasite, just to explode the opponent. It's truly an awesome finisher, and it wouldn't be the last time Shang Tsung would morph to do some damage. Wink wink. Number 6. Time to move ahead into the next installment in this series with Mortal Kombat 3. I've criticized in previous videos stating that some of the finishers in this game took a step back in quality. In my opinion, I would say Shang Tsung actually has a top tier finisher from this game.
Wins. Fatality.
This one just steals the show. The reason why I rank this one higher than the MK2 original Soul Steal is how the body decays after the soul is stolen and kinda looks like a bowl of extra chunky split pea soup. Overall, this finisher was a show stealer in Mortal Kombat 3. Number 5. Taking a look at Shang Tsung's third fatality, yes, third fatality, from Mortal Kombat 2. Shang Tsung is the only character in the game with 3 different fatalities. Where the first 2 were pretty solid inclusions, the third one really makes its mark as one of the best in Mortal Kombat 2.
Shang Tsung wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Like Kintaro punching the opponent, this one is just impactful. We've seen Shang Tsung morph into every playable character in this game, but turning into the sub-boss of this game is awesome. I'm honestly surprised we didn't see this Kintaro-related finisher for more than 25 years, but it's nice to see this finisher referenced once again. Overall, this finisher is just an absolute classic and stands out as one of the best finishers in Mortal Kombat 2. Number 4. we're finally taking a look at the rebooted classic Mortal Kombat 2011. This game made all the right moves to make this game one of the best video game reboots of all time. Several finishers were remade to make them even bloodier or more violent than ever. For Tsung's first from this game, they decided to recreate the inner ear fatality from Mortal Kombat 2, but make it a little bit more disturbing.
Shang Tsung wins.
I absolutely love this identity theft finisher. If Shang Tsung really wanted to make a fate worse than death, he could have just stolen their social security number, but I guess forcing the opponent to rip their own head off is cool too. This finisher was so awesome that it was referenced in the recent Battle for the Realms animated movie that came out this August. If we get to see Shang Tsung in a future Mortal Kombat title, I'd love to see this finisher make a return. Overall, it's nice to see Shang Tsung take notes from Jim Halpert on this one.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year.
Number 3. Staying on focus with Mortal Kombat's amazing reboot. I've mentioned several times that the finishers from Mortal Kombat vs. DC have left a sour taste in players' mouths. However, some finishers were diamonds in the rough. Shang Tsung took one of the best finishers from Mortal Kombat vs. DC and did a full-on Snyder Cut version of it.
Shang Tsung wins. Flawless victory.
As I've stated before, the Joker has one finisher in Mortal Kombat vs. DC that was great. Although it was censored, it still left fans pleased. So having Shang Tsung, the character who can shapeshift into anyone, remake one of the best finishers from Mortal Kombat vs. DC is just amazing. This move may have also helped get the Joker to make his way into Mortal Kombat, so this finisher took a shot and made an impact. Number 2. We're finishing up the list by looking at Mortal Kombat 11. The last two finishers are, what I believe, Shang Tsung's best fatalities. These last two finishers were so hard to rank, but I decided to put it in this order at the end of the day. The first of Shang Tsung's finishers is one hell of a good time. Literally. Now this is one of the more disturbing finishers from this game. It really makes me think of Melina's Tasty Treat finisher from MKX, but containing zombies and degloving the skeleton. Yo, shout out to Dr. Chris Rayner for the terminology.
This is what we would call a degloving injury.
It also subverted my expectations, where instead of being dipped into hot lava, the opponent just gets ripped apart. This one is just truly an amazing finisher and deserves the silver medal. Number 1. Many of you saw this one coming, but we're taking a look at Shang Tsung's second fatality from Mortal Kombat 11. So how do you top off entrails being ripped out, a face being peeled off, and an entire skeleton being pulled out of a body? 2 words. Frickin' Kintaro.
Fatality. Shang Tsung wins. Flawless victory.
Not only does this finisher highlight Shang Tsung's soul powers, but this one also pays homage to his classic Kintaro transformation from Mortal Kombat 2, one of his first finishers in the entire series. Imagine, actually don't, having some big beast trying to break its way out of your body. Whether it's ripping your arms off or punching through your body, Kintaro will find a way. This kind of reminds me of the chest burster from Alien, but dialed up in the most disturbing way imaginable. With a nod to the Kintaro transformation fatality, to the high amount of gore and violence, makes this not only one of Shang Tsung's best finishers overall, but one of the best in the entire game. With those factors, this is what makes this the number 1 Shang Tsung fatality of all time. So there you have my ranking of all of Shang Tsung's fatalities across all of the Mortal Kombat games. Which were your favorite Shang Tsung finishers, and which were your least favorite? Be sure to put your rankings in the comments down below, and I will surely get back to you. While we're down there, let's keep this discussion friendly and not attack each other over our opinions. My list isn't the right list, it's just my list. I can respect all of your rankings, so I hope you can do the same with mine. With that, there's my ranking of every legacy character in Mortal Kombat. Many of you have caught on to this with my episode announcements and teases. These videos were super fun to do, and it helped this channel grow like crazy. Roughly a year ago, I was pushing 300 subscribers, and the only person I can thank for helping this channel grow is you. Be sure to stick around and check out my community tab for more channel updates. Next video will not be an all character finishers ranked video, but it will actually be a question and answer session. Be sure to check out my community tab, as I will be making an official post where you can ask a question to be featured in the video. Whether it's something Mortal Kombat related or not, feel free to ask me something. I think it'll be a fun time interacting with you and giving you the opportunity to know more about me. I'll also be doing a face reveal and share some big channel updates with you all, so don't miss out. Be sure to stay tuned and check out the community tab Wednesday to leave your question for me. The video will take longer than the others since it relies on what you want to ask me, but I'll keep you up to date on the progress of the video. In the end, thank you all very much for tuning into this series. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to join the Whack Pack today. My name is Nick, and have an amazing day.